Hello and welcome to Improve Your Fly Casting with me, Simon Gawesworth. Today I'm going to talk about a game that I like to teach my students when I'm doing advanced casting courses, and also just my mates throwing around fly lines when we're all testing each other's casting skills and having a beer. It's a great game, it's a tough game. The game is called Flip Flop, and the idea of Flip Flop, well, let me tell you about that in a second. First, what do you need for this game? So if you watch this video through and you think, hey, this is something I need to play, you're going to need to know what to have. And what I've got here is I've got a nice 10 weight rod, as you can see there, nice little 9-foot 10 weight rod, saltwater rod. I've also got a little 3 weight 7'6". This is a glass fiber rod. This is my little trout outfit. So I've got a 3 weight rod and a 10 weight rod. Equally, obviously, I have got lines that match those rods. I have my 10 weight forward line here, and that's a good saltwater line, and I've got a 3 weight line here, but the significance of this is a double taper 3 line. It has to be a double taper, not a weight forward. That's the gear, that's the casting gear. I've got on the end, I've got a 9-foot 4X trout leader like this. I like 9-foot 4X and a bit of fluff on the end. That's my kind of casting outfit. The other things you're going to need as part of that, you're going to need a tape measure that's going to measure your casts. This one's 100 foot long. You're going to need 3 pegs like this, and a toit, 3 little casting pegs, kind of for various reasons, which I'll show you in a moment. I've created a 6-foot rope. This is my casting station, which I'm going to stand behind so I can make every cast from behind here. And then you're going to need a little sprinkler flag, because somehow you're going to have to mark how far each cast goes. And that's what this flag does. So that's the gear. The concept of this game, well, this game is all about improving your casting skills, like the whole series is, but improving by changing your casting stroke. Now, you don't want to be a vanilla caster where you have one casting stroke. That's it. Because sometimes you're going to cast a short line and a long line. Sometimes you're going to have a 3 weight, sometimes you're going to have a 10 weight. Sometimes you have wind, sometimes you have a big fly. And throughout your course as a fly caster and a fly angler, you're going to find you have to have different casting strokes. So the idea of this video, of this game, is to give you the ability to have different casting strokes, make different casting strokes work. And so what I've done with this is this game Flip Flop. Well, what I've got here is this is my 10 weight rod, but I have the 3 weight double taper line on. Not the 10 weight. I've got the 3 weight double taper line on. And on this rod, my fiberglass rod, yep, you've guessed it, I've done the exact opposite. I've got my little 3 weight here, and I've got the 10 weight saltwater line on it. I have overloaded this rod, made it floppy. That's this outfit's called the Flop. And this outfit, the 10 weight rod with the 10 weight rod with the 3 weight line on, this is severely underloaded. This is the Flip. Obviously what this does is kind of negates the AFMA standard where you have to have a 5 weight line and a 5 weight rod and a 6 weight line and a 6 weight rod. We've gone the polar opposites. We have drastically underloaded and we're drastically overloading a rod. And that means you're going to have to change your casting stroke when you're out there in the field practicing and playing this game. When you underload a rod, the rod doesn't flex. So your line speed is going to have to come from your technique, your haul speed and the tip speed from you generate from the rod. And when you overload a rod, especially as much as we're going to overload it in this video, the rod will have so much weight it cannot have any speed. You have to really slow down and smooth out your casting strokes, smooth out your hauls. So I have set up the just horrible outfits, as most people would think, but this is a very fun game. This will make you cast a lot better, and it'll give you the ability to understand how casting strokes change as loads change. And that is the idea of this wonderful game of Flip Flop. So the first thing you got to do is set up your casting station. So this is where I'm going to stand behind my little 6-foot bit of rope here, and then just so I can measure and get an accurate idea of how far I'm casting. I get my 100-foot tape measure and skewer that into the ground here, so I know how far I cast, and walk up the full 100 feet because I want to know how far this cast is. And 100 foot's a good distance. Probably not going to make 100 foot with every single cast, but you never know. It's good to have a 100-foot measure. Let's see, where are we here? 93. There's 100. Give it a little shake. All right. Beautiful. So that's the course set up. You want your casting station, you want your 100-foot measure, and then you want to go cast and see how far you cast. Let me go get my sticks and show you. All right, so I've got my two outfits, the flip and the flop outfit, but I've also got the sprinkler flag. Very important, the sprinkler flag. I'm only going to show you this in this casting video maybe once, maybe twice with each outfit, but generally speaking, when I practice, do this on my own, and I have my classes and students I teach, I like to put the flag out on their first cast, and then the challenge is, can you pass that flag? So I would use the same flip outfit 5 times, the underloaded outfit, and each cast trying to surpass the previous cast. Well, that's what the flag comes in. And then I'll try 5 casts with the flop and do the same result. So the flag is only if you can do multiple casts. We don't really need it here, but just to give you the idea. Let's put the flag down. Here is, just don't like this system. This is the flop. The rod is floppy. It's overloaded. Here's the glass fiber rod, the 3-weight with the 10-weight saltwater line on. So there's so much weight that rod is going to be unbelievably overloaded. And one interesting thing to know is that if you're a really good caster, you'll always cast the furthest with your underloaded outfit because you can generate tip speed. If you're a novice caster searching for tip speed and line speed and rod speed, you'll find that flip, the underload, is really, really hard because you can't get it to work. But you'll find the overload works. You can suddenly feel the rod loading, you can get it out. So novice casters will generally outcast. The flop will go further than the flip, and great casters, the flip will outcast the flop. So that's a good little test to see what level of caster you are. Which one do you outcast? If you try this, let me know. Put some comments in the end of this video and just let me know. Did you go further with flip or flop? I'd be really interested to find out. Anyway, let's lay down the old flop. Let's go to the flip, the underloaded, the double taper 3 on my 10-weight saltwater rod. And the first thing you're going to find out is that there's no bend, right? The rod hardly flexes, and so I've got to do something about that. I've got to change my casting stroke, and I'm going to pull off a lot of line. And as I said at the beginning, this is the double taper 3. The double taper is essential because the double taper means you can carry a ton of length. If you try this with a weight forward, you're going to have a problem. Most weight forwards, 3 weights, will have a head of 35 to 40 feet, and you can carry no more than that. So here, being a double taper, I can carry a huge amount of line. Pull it all off. I'm going to go all the way down to the backing. Get a couple of feet of backing off. There we go. And start casting. And really, because the line underloads a rod, you're going to find there's no flex. So I have to change my casting stroke. I have to get my stroke short and fast, hard stops here, and fast hauls like this. You see, really fast hauls, lengthening the double taper, having very positive, sharp hauls, positive hard flicks back and forward, carrying more and more line each time. See, I'm carrying about 70 feet of line now, maybe 80 feet, which is great, because when I want to let one go, I can shoot a lot of line. I'm only shooting like 20 feet because I can carry so much line. So that's why it's so essential to try this exercise with the double taper. And look, hey, I got onto my backing here. So that was a pretty good cast. Let me just, for the sake of interest, let me go and see how far that cast is. And I'll take my flag just to kind of measure it out and see how far it is. So this one was right here, and that is 93 feet. All right, that's a 93-foot cast. That was with a 10-weight rod with a 3-weight line on, just to give you a rough idea of how far. Quite a good cast. Only can do that with a double taper line. You can't do it with a weight forward line, as I explained to you earlier. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the opposite, the flop, the line that is overloading the rod. Now for the beast, now for the flop, the overload, the saltwater 10-weight line. And why I like this exercise, why I use this in all my advanced casting classes, is because it teaches you how to have different casting strokes. There's no situation in the world where every single cast you make is going to have the same stroke. Sometimes you're going to fish a 3-weight at 10 feet. Sometimes you're going to fish for permit and make a 90-foot or 100-foot cast with a 9-weight. Sometimes you've got a headwind, sometimes you've got a streamer. All of those things mean you have to have different casting strokes. And so this exercise is truly an excellent way of learning the sublimely opposite casting strokes. Massively overloaded against massively underloaded. And when you overload a rod, if you have any speed at all, speed kills. So if I have fast, short stops like this, I'm going to tail my loop like that, almost going to hit myself, and suddenly the rod becomes completely unmanageable. I'm way too fast. So when you overload a rod, you want to slow down your strokes, have long, smooth hauls. See how much slower this stroke is. I've still got a very long stroke. I'm doing a wide arc with my rod. Long, smooth hauls, nothing like as fast a rod movement or haul as I have with the underloaded. And when you let the last cast go, don't be tempted to hit it hard because you'll crush it. Just let go. That wasn't bad. I shot some line. I see, note I didn't pull anywhere near the backing. There's no way I can cast this vast overload that far. But that wasn't a bad cast. Let me go see how far that is. So you can see that one, this one landed right here. Nowhere near as far, 80 feet. Way less than 93 feet, or 94, whatever that one was. So that's the concept. The whole idea of this game is that you're practicing your different casting strokes. And as I said, that's really important as you develop your casting skills as an angler. You don't want to be vanilla. One casting stroke for everything. You want to have a series of casting strokes. And the easiest way to do that is do these dichotomies of outfits. Get that 3-weight line on your 10-weight rod, get a 10-weight line on a 3-weight rod, have a super underloaded and a super overloaded outfit, and just play around with your strokes. And remember, the more you overload a rod, the slower and longer the strokes have to be. And the more you underload the rod, the shorter and snappier and crisper those strokes have to be to generate line speed. And that's really the entire idea of this whole event called Flip Flop. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've learned a couple of things from that. I hope you get out there and practice it. And if you enjoyed this episode, click on this little button right here and subscribe and check out the rest of these episodes that are coming up. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you on the water next time.